Uncorked was made possible in part by a generous donation from Pink Zebra and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
Texas Hill Country wines.
Can you see that?
Playing a little trombone. Maybe. I don't know.
Cool.
Okay.
You ready?
Still
Yeah,
rolling.
we're ready.
Yeah,
Let's
we're
go.
rolling, guys.
We're rolling. Photo shoot. Welcome to the Texas Hill Country. Each winery has its own personality, terroir, and style of winemaking. We invite newcomers and old friends alike to an award-winning wine experience only Texas can offer.
Sure. Watch out.
I'm a little, well, the gas gauge doesn't work, so I'm a little worried about that.
Say when.
When?
We've known each other for over 30 years.
We've worked together, hung out together, but we've never really taken a road trip together. Wine!
Nice nap.
See what I was doing there?
Yeah.
So I'm taking Dave on a little trip through the Texas wine country. We'll meet some winemakers, drink a little wine,
Thank you so much.
and I want to find out why there are so many wineries in this one area of Texas.
And I just want to drink the wine.
Do I see the legs?
You might ask yourself just what qualifies us to do a show about wine.
Absolutely nothing. Except we drink a lot of wine and we know what we like. I have been told by the producer that there is going to be some sort of new vehicle. We have 4 or 5 cars over here that apparently aren't good enough for the show. So we will see what we end up with. Wow, that's a Chevy.
It's a Chevy.
Okay,
You're not gonna say anything about the hat?
first things first.
I thought, what better way to see the Texas wine country than in a vintage Texas truck? So I picked up Old Red, a 1951 Series 3100 pickup. It has a 90 horsepower straight 6 with a classic 3 on the tree shift,
Can I just cut in on this for a second?
if you must.
Is this a car show or a wine show?
Oh, sorry, I got a little carried away.
It's got a few quirks. You can't put it into first while you're still rolling, so you have to be total stop when you put it into first.
Okay, how does it stop?
Or the well, it's got you know. Did you ever see the Flintstones? So first of all, on the reveal, Dave didn't like my hat, so that was a little hurtful. I think he liked the truck, and I think eventually, as we go through the journey, that he's gonna get the truck. He's a little slow sometimes, and I'm a little worried about that, but not him being slow, but I mean about him like getting the whole atmosphere type thing. But I think we'll see. It'll work. It'll be good.
Seriously, this is what you look like. Well, I admit, I love it. I think it's great.
You just don't see the need for it.
Yeah, like I said, does it make the wine taste better because it's old too?
Well, you know, the first taste is with the eye, right? This is our first taste of the hill country.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
All right.
I like it. I was trying to remember the first time I had wine as a kid, and not like a small child kid, you know, like maybe 10 or 11. It would be steak night. We would sit down and watch the Wonderful World of Disney.
Ah, yeah.
And the kids, we got to have just like a little tiny glass of wine just to try it.
Oh.
Steak and a little bit of red wine. We thought we were so sophisticated.
And they do that in Europe with kids. I mean,
Yeah.
wine is food, right? It's
Yeah.
just food. I remember Sunday nights watching Flipper and eating fish sticks, which I thought was a little ironic,
Ah.
you know?
Even though driving this truck is fun, Old Red can only do about 45 miles an hour.
We have a long line of people behind us.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna pull over and I'm gonna let them pass.
You
because-
should.
Oh my God.
Sunday driver.
That is one long line of angry people.
Yes.
But before we go much further, I want to enlighten Dave's palate with a very special lunch. Birria tacos. Sudden they break it.
bratwurst,
No,
bratwurst,
we
bratwurst.
don't need
Oh, come on,
bratwurst. No,
please.
no. Bratwurst is the first.
Okay.
We're going to try these tacos.
Okay. What makes these tacos so special?
Well, first you have to remember how to say them. I have
Go
to
on,
say
that's up.
Iberia first, and then I say birria. This is the truck.
Oh, wow.
Toca mayo.
Toca.
Hi.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. So I
Good
brought
to see
my
ya.
friend here to. First of all, what's the name of the truck? What does that mean? Taco Maya.
Taco Maya.
Badass tacos.
Oh.
Badass tacos. All right. I brought my friend here for Iberia tacos.
Yes, sir. I got a picture right here, boss. Birria special is gonna be shredded meat and a crispy red taco with cheese in it.
Excellent. Thank you very much. We'll give us 2 big orders.
2 orders.
Plates.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Anything else?
That'll be it.
Couple drinks.
Maybe a couple of nondescript
I'll
drinks.
throw a few soft drinks in.
All right, thank you. Birria tacos are apparently very on trend, and that's kind of unusual for this show. The meat is slowly cooked in a rich and spicy stew, then assembled in a taco. But here are the owners, Angie and Carlos Zaninga, to tell you more about it.
The birria really comes together with a lot of different types of chiles and spices. And when he begins to prepare it, what it looks like is the tortilla. It gets nice and crispy on the grill with a little bit of the liquid from the birria, some cheese, if you want more of the quesabirria style, to make it cheesy with the meat and the consomme from the birria. And then you top it off with a little bit of cotija cheese, and it's just delicious.
Nice.
We're
Ooh,
gonna
it's
have
hot.
our red
It's
and our
hot.
green salsa on the side. The red one is hotter.
Beautiful.
Good.
And number 2, and you got napkins and silverware right there.
Excellent. I got
lovely.
it. Thank you very much. Cheers. Thank
Enjoy.
you.
Is that enough napkins?
Thank you. So,
Yeah.
you take the taco.
Take the taco.
Taco 1. Dip it in the sauce.
I'm with you so far.
You with you?
Yeah.
And slow down for you?
No,
Okay.
I'm good.
And then cheers.
Love your work.
The fat. Yeah, it's wonderful.
You were
Consomme, not sauce.
You were not wrong. Yes.
I'm
More of
telling you, I'm not wrong.
a stew.
A stew, if you will.
You said, yeah. So these are delicious. You're absolutely right. Thanks for the lunch.
Sure.
But why did you ask me here?
I'm glad you asked. How would you feel about traveling around, going to different wineries, going to great taco places, right? And having a crew film us.
These guys? Wineries?
Wineries,
Food?
not just wineries, food too. Learning about wine, learning the ins and outs of wine. I mean, it's exactly like the taco. You're enjoying the taco, right?
I am.
And you know more about the taco from the previous segment's voiceover.
I
right?
do, but you know, there's not as much pretension with taco and taco makers as
And
there
that's
is
what
with
I'm trying,
wine.
no, that's what I'm trying to tell you.
winemakers.
No, I'm trying to tell you that it doesn't have to be pretension with the wine.
They just suck all the fun
No,
and the joy
I'm
out of
gonna-
it, and they make you
no.
spit in a little bucket.
But learning about the wine gives you an appreciation for the wine, and it helps you know what wines you like. We go to wineries, cheesemakers, olive growers, anything that's interesting and artisan. But every focus would be a winery, a separate winery in the Hill Country. And we've always wanted to take a road trip together.
Yes. Don't mention Vermont.
Even when we wanted to go to Vermont
You wanted to go to Vermont.
and try cheese.
I am fine with this. I think it'll be fun. I think we should do little side
Oh
trips.
yeah, we do little side trips like
trips.
this, just like this.
Go to crazy places.
Yeah, go to
not-
Crazy
not
Town.
not the usual, the
No.
ones everyone covers.
Snake farms.
The Alamo. Not that there's anything wrong with the Alamo. But anyway, I like the offbeatness of it. And I think we would bring a lot to that.
The offbeatness of it. There's
Yeah.
the poster.
The
The offbeatness of it.
Ooh, that's a good title.
No, I think we're gonna call it Uncorked, because we are uncorked. The wine is uncorked. We are unplugged.
I see what you did there.
See where I went with that?
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah. It could work.
It'll work.
It could work.
Okay, now we're delving into William Shatner. I think it's the end of the scene.
I think it could work.
The show's going well so far. I think Dave is catching on to what I want to do. He's okay that it's not just about wineries. He wants to do side trips. That's all good. So yeah, I think so far, I think it's going pretty good. I'm a little concerned about his attitude toward the wine snobs. So I think that's one thing I'm going to have to really kind of work on. But other than that, I think it's great.
Okay. So we're rolling? Okay. Well, anyway, I kind of thought something like this might happen. He gets very excited and I can read him. He has no poker face at all. I would say absolutely, but I have to play the curmudgeon. I have to be difficult just to make him happy, because if it's too easy, he loses interest. I got him an ice cream maker and a cheese making kit one time. Was gonna get him a beer thing, but he couldn't handle the amount of attention he needed to devote to it. So I'm hoping this will last longer, so I have to kind of play it cool and play hard to get, so. But he already went, right? Figures. I think next up we need to incorporate cheese and perhaps the beef jerky industry, because I like, with my wine, and I know it's not exactly upscale or highbrow, but I like a little beef jerky with my red wine. Cheese too.
Beef jerky, huh? What kind of wine do you put with beef jerky?
A red, definitely.
Preferably something someone else has bought.
Absolutely. The wines I like are very dark and almost thick. I like,
Robust,
heavy,
a meaty wine.
a good fighting wine.
A good fighting wine.
And if you don't drink, wow, look at all the motorcycles. I'm sure you can hear them.
Whoa.
Anyway, but yeah, I like me a good fighting wine. And if you don't drink it and want to fight, then you could definitely use it as a weapon.
Exactly.
They're heavy.
You've got all this atmosphere that's manufactured. You've got winemakers and wineries that are growing sort of like show grapes as part of their landscape at their wineries.
There it is. That's your title.
Show grapes.
Show grapes.
They don't come out and say the wine, all the grapes are not here, because for some
Right.
reason they feel like it will denigrate the experience. But
Right.
I maintain that it won't. I mean, I think the atmosphere is very important as long as it's authentic. Today we're going to go see Gary Elliott.
All right, he's the owner of the winery?
He's the owner of Driftwood Estates Winery.
I thought it was a Driftwood Estate.
No, I think it's plural.
Is it?
Yeah, we can check that out with him.
We should ask him.
But he has a very interesting history too. He is originally from California, from Paso Robles,
Wow.
and he has a winemaking background. And
what's he doing here?
Well, that's one thing I'm curious to find out about.
Okay.
We need to ask that question. But I do want to ask him about the terroir aspect of Texas grapes. And I don't want to say legitimacy of Texas grapes, but
Oh yeah, you might want to avoid that.
I don't want to avoid that word. But
Phrasing is everything.
I think it's just why all of the wineries are in this area of Texas when they import grapes from North Texas. So they're all Texas grapes, but they're not all grown at the winery. And I think sometimes that's the impression that wineries want to give.
That should be just about enough exposition for anybody.
Driftwood Estate sits high on top of one of those Texas hill country hills. And it certainly checks all the winery boxes. Knowledgeable staff, check.
Wine bottles stacked in a sexy X formation, check.
And a sunny tasting room where patrons can swirl to their heart's content.
Good. Maybe we'll finally get to drink some wine.
No, not yet. We want to start in the vineyard, where Gary reveals some very strong feelings about terroir.
Terroir, for those of you who aren't wine critics, refers to the idea that where a grape is grown has an impact on its taste.
Nicely done.
Thank you all.
You know, you talk about terroir. The terroir can...
Yeah, tell me about terroir.
Well, a lot of people think it's the soil, but that's, in my opinion, the least important of over a dozen different aspects. You've got solar radiation, cloudy days, sunny days. You've got the exposure to the sun. Do you plant your rows southwest, or, east-west or south-north? And then it's the treatment of the floor of the vineyard. We don't cultivate. We keep a grass floor. All these things are... You could put them all on a list.
Yeah, altitude make a difference?
Altitude makes a pretty good difference. That's why we're different than the high plains. When you have a higher altitude, your chances are better of getting cooler nights, and that's what they get up there. A winemaker friend of mine who left Texas and went to California, they asked him what's the difference in Texas weather and California weather? And he said, well, in California it gets hot during the day and it gets cool at night. In Texas, it gets hot during the day and it gets dark at night. You know, and which is pretty much the hill country. So
terroir, you're saying, doesn't affect the wine as drastically as, say, the French say it does.
Well, the French like to think soil is very important. But if soil was so important, then their grapes wouldn't go from year to year. Some years great, some years mediocre, some years not good at all, because the soil is the same every year. The one thing that changes every year is the climate.
In addition to the sprawling vineyard, Gary's operation includes several aging rooms, a state-of-the-art wine lab, and an on-site restaurant called the Bistro,
Ooh, that looks yummy.
where we will not be dining.
Why not?
Budget.
I've got to talk to my agent.
Besides, we have wine to taste.
This is our Albarino, which is a Spanish white grape.
So,
Thank you all.
you're welcome.
Thank you all.
It's a very big, fruit-forward, very explosive white wine. It's very aromatic. You're going to get a lot of aromas from it, and you'll taste a lot of fruit.
All right.
And this is done without any oak. This is done in stainless steel.
All right.
Oh, as the white wine's on.
Let's try it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Nice.
Yeah, that's very nice. That's really, really light.
Now,
Yeah.
I noticed that, and I'm appreciative of, that we are not doing any spitting into cups and stuff.
No, I always tell everybody at the counter, if you don't want to finish your sample, offer it to one of the dump buckets standing next to you. I'm sure they'll be stunned at it.
Cheers.
I like your philosophy. I like your philosophy very much. See, this to me tastes less, for lack of my vocabulary, less acidic.
Oh my God. Remember when you said earlier that phrasing was everything?
Sorry.
Is that a real observation, or is that my personal opinion?
Well, you're wrong.
I'd have to.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah, no, this. Yeah, oh yeah, this is.
It's crisper, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
this
Yeah.
one is. Yeah.
Nice save.
We're gonna go with the Sangiovese. Even though it has a varietal name, it is a blend. So this one is 75% Sangiovese, and that's why it can be called a Sangiovese. 10% Cabernet Sauvignon, 10% Merlot, and we put in 5% Malbec.
So how much of the grapes that you grow here versus the grapes that you ship in?
Sangiovese came from here. So it's about 25% from the high plains and 75% from our hill country state vineyard
But
here.
100% Texan.
Oh yeah, everything
so-
everything is 100% Texan.
After a few more samplings, like their Cuvée Blanc and their famous Longhorn Red, Gary began to dive into the more psychological aspects of tasting wine.
Gives it a high score, it's got to be good. So what you're doing is you're convincing yourself that it's good, and you can actually reprogram your mind to accept something that it doesn't accept in the beginning. A lecture I went to many years ago, the fellow that was giving the lecture was a marketing expert. He had this funny little joke he would do during the lectures. He would pretend to be a person tasting wine, and he'd have an empty glass, and he'd taste it, and he'd go, oh God, that's terrible. And then he'd say, oh, Robert Parker scored it a 98. And then he'd say, well, wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute, I think it's opening up now. Yeah, it tastes pretty good. What you're doing is you're convincing yourself that it's good, and you can actually reprogram your mind to accept something that it doesn't accept in the beginning.
So a lot of wine is psychological.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
As the golden sun sets on our day of discovery, we take a moment to reflect on the events of the day. Too much?
Just a tad.
Ah,
Hey, Skipper.
hey.
Got your favorite from the tasting?
Very nice. Very nice.
Now, how can you say that this atmosphere does not add to the taste of the wine?
Terroir.
Terroir.
Well, I feel like I've learned a lot about wine and expensive antique trucks.
Yes. See, the truck adds to it. I think if Gary has shown us anything, it is the winemaker, not where the grapes come from.
I agree.
You know?
And 3/4 of it is in your head.
That's right.
The thing about terroir is it doesn't matter if you believe in it or not. Proof's in the...
Proof is in the proof.
Ooh.
See, that's why I got this job.
Ah, there you go.
Oh, what a beautiful terroir. Oh. I think that's all.
Do we need more?
No, I think that's it.
All right.
Plural. Okay, so we got just a state. No, that's me again, just to make sure.
Oh.
And then I'll talk about it. Take 3.
I get it.
Just thinking of us, we got the move light.
Yeah, you're that's pretty good though. That's pretty good.